Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. All about nutrition from your favorite dietitian. Everything you need to digest in your mind. Tips with Tony. Tips with Tony. Making you healthier one bite at a time. With Tony. Woo.
Hello and welcome to the Tips with Tony podcast. I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time. If you heard my podcast episode, the previous one, then you know a few weeks ago I found a dog and we've been looking for his owner. However, we have not been able to locate his owner. So we have decided to keep him. His name is Peanut. He is a legitimate peanut. He's so cute. He's a small dog. We think he's a combination of a Shih Tzu and a Schnauzer. And he's just precious. And I'm very, 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 very grateful for him. He makes my life brighter. Funny enough, a few weeks before we found him, my boyfriend and stepdaughter were like, we're getting a dog soon, right? Well, basically, my boyfriend was like, we're getting a good dog soon, right? And my stepdaughter was like, yeah, we're going to get a dog. And I was like, absolutely effing not. There is no way we're getting a dog. We have way too many responsibilities. It's an additional expense. No, absolutely not. And my boyfriend's idea of getting a dog was like, he was going to get a pit bull. And, we get it as a puppy and raise it, which I was like a little bit concerned with my cats because my cats... And we've watched a pit bull before. My cats did not like the big dog. But I was like, all right, maybe if it's a puppy. But either way, not till 2024, 2025, the absolute earliest. And if we do it, we need to be in a different apartment or a different house with a big backyard and more rooms. So that way, if the cats don't get along, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, long story short, joke's on me because this dog is the best thing that's ever happened to me. But anyways, why am I bringing this up? Why am I sharing this? Well, because I went to the vet the other day to schedule his appointment, and I was expressing my concern about how anytime I would leave my house, he would bark. And now he's calmed down, but then I was like, he's obviously under distress. He has a lot of anxiety. He doesn't know what's happening. I feel like I can't even leave him. And the vet said to me, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. And what she was referring to was that's how long it's going to take him to adjust to a new environment, a new home, a new routine, all of the things. And it got me thinking that as humans, when we're trying to break up with bad habits or, habits that are impacting our health in negative ways or happiness in negative ways, at first, the first 3 days can feel like the hardest. If you think about someone who decides to cut back on alcohol or stop smoking cigarettes, or starting a new routine, like going to the gym, your first workout that if you've ever taken a break. It's why I tell people to never stop. If you need to break, just slow down, but never quit, because when it comes to exercise, the absolute hardest thing to do is start. And the feeling of not being able to breathe and catch your breath and the pain that you can get from working out and not being used to it is no, thank you. So I just, if I ever need a break, I take a couple of days off, but I won't go longer than a few weeks without exercising because I know how hard it is to get back into it. But anyways, so it got me thinking. So for those of you who are trying to form a new habit, break some old ones, make some new ones, maybe you're trying to, get to bed a little bit earlier, slow down on the Netflix. Maybe you're trying to get outside for walks. Maybe you're trying to start a morning routine. And that morning routine requires you to get up a little bit earlier. It also requires you to go to bed a little bit earlier. And at first you're like, oh, this sucks. I don't want to turn off the TV at night, or, this sucks. I don't want to wake up at, say, 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., whatever the early time is for you. The first 3 days are definitely going to be the hardest. However, once you get through that, you're going to often feel proud and think like, hey, you know what? That wasn't so bad. And as time passes, it actually starts to get even easier. So, and basically by that 3-week mark is where you start to actually feel confident in the new habit that has formed. And that's not surprising, right? We've always heard it takes about 21 days to make or break a new habit. So this makes sense, right? And if you have the right support, this can be a turning point for so many. So if you're doing it with the right mindset, with the right foundation, with the right support system in place, you could really, once you get through that three week mark, now it's really habitual. And now you might not see results until the 3-month mark, but if you stick to it, you're actually going to be really surprised that you really are a new person or a newer version of yourself or a more elevated version of yourself, and you're going to be really surprised. Now, here's the thing that can also happen. So usually around that 3-week mark, it's like when we're in the beginning, we're super motivated, and no matter what's going on around us, we tend to kind of stick to it. But after that 3-week mark, we start to get a little bit burnt out. This is actually why I don't believe that it takes 21 days to break a habit or make a habit. And studies actually show it's an average of 66 days, which ironically is that 3-month mark, because of the fact that life is going to happen. Life is going to throw curveballs at you. And if you listen to my previous episode about is it life happening or is it self-sabotage, then you understand that when life happens, what happens is we can lose sight of why we decided to create the new habit in the first place. And sometimes, and I know a lot of you can relate to this, when we're feeling really good, it actually puts us at a higher risk for self-sabotage because we kind of start thinking about oh, can I get away with this? Can I get away with this? Oh, I've been waking up every morning super early, or oh, I've been eating really super healthy or super quote unquote clean or whatever it is. And this is why the mindset really matters. Now, even with a strong, healthy, balanced mindset, it's still possible that we can self-sabotage because our bodies, our minds, we feel like something new and fresh is a threat to us. We like what's comfortable. And once we start to really make those changes, kind of our subconscious takes over and just tries to wreak havoc. But if you're aware of it, and you hold true to your vision and you don't lose sight of it, even when life happens, even when curveballs are thrown at you, and you just are flexible with your approach, but you stick to it, you get to that 3-month mark, that's when you're going to really be able to clearly say that this is no longer something that you do, but part of who you are. And that is where the long-term sustainability, all that stuff actually happens and changes. So if you're starting something new, whether you're struggling to create a new habit, maybe things like drinking more water, eating a balanced breakfast, exercising regularly, developing that sleep routine, just whatever it is, focus on one milestone at a time and try it for just 3 days. Just tell yourself, I'm just going to do this for 3 days. Right? I'm going to wake up early for 3 days, or I'm going to go for a walk outside for 3 days, or I'm going to drink more water for 3 days, whatever it is. Pick one of those, do it for 3 days. Then see if you can do it for 3 weeks. And then lastly, see if you can do it for 3 months. Now, inside of our 6 Month to Food Freedom program, this is something that we do actually for 6 months. But what we do is, if you notice, I just named a bunch of different habits and a bunch of different things that can be formed. Now, is it possible to form a bunch of habits in 3 months? Sure. But are you more likely to do it if you actually build off of one after the next and you don't try to do it all at one time and instead you gradually grow? Yes. And by doing it that way, it usually takes about 6 months, which is why I created my 6 Months of Food Freedom program, because not only are we working on your relationship with food and your mindset, but we're also working on your habits, which take time to make, time to break. And, usually within that 6 months, life tends to happen, curveballs get thrown. It's kind of the nature of the game, unfortunately. It's kind of the universe being like, how badly do you want this? But it's those who stick to it and make it all the way to the end of that 6 months where they truly are able to say to themselves, wow, this is not something I'm doing. This is who I am. This is literally what I do, because it's who I am, not because I feel like I have to or I should, or because there's this temporary timeline. It's literally who I am, right? We are what we repeatedly do. Aristotle once said that, right? We are what we repeatedly do. So if you are someone who is looking to take your habits and maybe you're tired of trying it on your own, maybe you feel like you can't even get to that 3-week mark or that 3-month mark without things falling apart, then I strongly encourage you to go to www.tipswithtony.com/coaching to apply to work with us. We are entering the summer. For those of you who said, the school year was super busy or my work's been super busy and I'm going to wait for the summer when things slow down to take care of my health, this is the time for you. For those of you who are thinking, I'm going to wait for summer to be over because I want to enjoy it and I want to be able to go out and I want to be able to drink and I want to be able to eat, yummy food and I don't have to worry. Well, you can still do this program because this program is meant to be a lifelong commitment. And it's something that we allow and create space for the things that you want to do. Like if you're going on vacation, if you can't take your diet, when I say your diet, the foods that you eat, and you can't make it work for you on vacation, that's not actually a lifestyle change. So if you've been debating or thinking or have tried things in the past that tell you it's a lifestyle change, but you feel like you can't take it with you in the summer or on vacation, that's not for you. All right, I know I'm going to be going to a lot of weddings, a lot of birthday celebrations this summer. Basically, I realize that everybody I love happens to be born in the summer. So lots of birthdays, lots of weddings, lots of celebrations. This weekend, I'm actually going to a bachelorette in Atlantic City. I'm super excited about it. Stuff like this, you can still live a healthy lifestyle. You can still be mindful. You can still be intentional. You can still be on track with your goals, even while living life. That's what makes it a lifestyle change. So for those of you who are thinking it's not the best time, I'm telling you the best time was yesterday. The next best time is now. And if you're super curious and you're not 100% sure, just apply because we always have a discovery call. I basically do an interview process before even inviting you into the program. So it never hurts to just put in that application so you can learn more about it and we hop on a call. All right. So I hope to see your application. Go to www.tipswithtony.com/coaching. And I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for listening. As always, I'm Tony Marinucci, your registered dietitian, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.